Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about if Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellan are going back to Marvel. Now, Patrick Stewart kind of did when he reprised his role as Professor X in Multiverse of Madness, but I guess they mean are they gonna have be really involved like when they were in the X-Men films? So let's see. Professor X and Magneto may not be done with their chess game yet. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, while promoting season 3 of Picard, which is supposed to be really good, Stewart was asked if he will be returning to play Charles Xavier after his brief appearance in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. His initial response is a bit jokey. Charles Xavier? Well, I'm not looking to borrow his wheelchair if we're to do much more Star Trek or standing up and becoming a bit of a problem. I can't say about what Charles' future might possibly hold. It sounds like he is at least open to returning to the founder of the X-Men, but there's more than just the standard remark. Stewart was next asked about his friend Ian McKellan, who played Xavier's best friend or enemy, Magneto, in several of the X-Men films, and his reaction to Stewart's role in Multiverse of Madness. So we're getting Ian McKellen's response. Okay, actually, it went very well. He did say something like, "Hey, I would have done this. Yes, that's true, but we're not done. Sir Ian and myself, we got plans." Oh, that was Patrick Stewart said that. Okay. That seems as close as to confirmations as you can get without a press release that these two will be back in the Marvel film, in a future Marvel film. Entertainment Tonight speculates that it could be in Deadpool 3 or whatever they end up calling it, which is already slated to feature Hugh Jackman's return as the Wolverine. This is based on an interview Stewart did with comicbook.com where he said, "I've been told to stand by. I know nothing more than that, honest. But that's a good bet. Seeing the Stewart, McKellan, Jackson trim variant again will be a thrill, and Deadpool makes a point of referencing the X-Men movies as much as possible in his films." That's true. But I think they could be saving them for something else, or at least also putting them into something else. Now that we're in the thick of the multiverse saga, and they're going to need something beyond the also rans they've set up in the next Avengers team to sell the King Dynasty and Secret Wars. I would bet that Xavier and Magneto will make an appearance there, along with Wolverine. Secret Wars is more likely, as they're all major players in the original comic story. The evidence may be scant at this point, accounting to tidbits from actors here and there, and the underperformance of Marvel's current output, but it's slowly piling up. And I really think they're at least going to try to get as many beloved versions of the Marvel heroes back as they can. Several outlets are freaking out over the recent quotes from Marvel executive Stephen Browson, who said to IO9 that Robert Downey Jr. was off the table. He seemed to be talking about bringing the new heroes to take the place of the old ones more than closing the door on RDJ coming back for the big finish. If you read his comments in full, a lot rests on whether Downey would even want to come back. Of course, but I think they're going to do everything they can to get him, as well as the rest of the Avengers. Whether or not any of this is a good idea creatively, it's open to the debate. It's open to debate, and I'm sure not a concern of Marvel's or Disney's, but considering what we've gotten lately and what we have to look forward to, fan service may be the best we can hope for right now. Now, to further Robert Downey Jr. thing, I don't want him to come back. Not because I didn't like him as Iron Man, because I did, but since he died in Endgame, I want the character to stay dead. Steve Rogers to come back. Unless this was like, since we're in the multiverse, if like, guess isn't there like a first on Steve Rogers where like if the Nazis won, and Steve Rogers is that face? Correct me if I'm wrong. If that's the case, I'll be open to that first on Steve Rogers to come in. But if we're getting but for Chris Evans, I think I would enjoy a bit more seeing him come back as the Human Torch. Do you know how many people would flip the hell out seeing Chris Evans as the Human Torch after like not seeing him as the Human Torch for like about 20-ish years, give or take? I would. I mean, I loved him as Captain America. Don't get me wrong. I think Chris Evans was a pretty solid Captain America, and I loved his portrayal of Johnny Storm. I would love to see Johnny Storm come back. His first time Johnny Storm, like, if we're going to get his Johnny Storm to return, this is the very moment to do so. This is the very moment to do so. Since we're exploring the multiverse era, now I made it up this point many times before. I'm kind of getting over the whole multiverse idea because I feel like studios and companies are like using that too frequently, in my opinion. But like I said, since we're in the multiverse era right now, I will be 100% behind the fact with Chris Evans returning to the MCU, but reprising his role as the Human Torch. That's just me. I love that. And you guys will not hear any argument. My screen went black, so sorry. In case of the sound went weird, I'll repeat it. And you guys will not hear any arguments from me if Chris Evans did come back, but as a Human Torch. Now, unless if they pull what they did to John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic in Doctor Strange and have him die in like without like really putting on most of a fight, then that's where I will complain about. Because I think the last Doctor Strange movie did Mr. Fantastic dirty. But they bring in the Human Torch and have him actually do stuff, helping the good guys at least a little bit more than what Mr. Fantastic did in the Doctor Strange movie. Man, I think many Marvel comics lovers, many Chris Evans fans, many Fantastic Four fans, MCU fans would love for Chris Evans to come back and reprise his role as Human Torch. Man, you're hitting a gold mine. You're hitting a gold mine. But yeah, Professor X, Magneto coming back. I mean, or Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellan reprising roles as Professor X and Magneto. I would be up for that. When we all saw well, I can't say for everyone, but I really enjoyed seeing Patrick Stewart reprise his role as Professor X in Doctor Strange. Like, for me, Professor X wasn't there too little. He wasn't there just for a cameo. Oh, he was there for a cameo, but he wasn't just there for a cameo. In my opinion, he was there the right amount, and I feel like they used him pretty decent in the Doctor Strange movie. Of course, that was fair enough of him. So I would very much would love to see Professor X and Magneto coming back in Deadpool 3. I will be game for that. I mean, somewhere in this universe there has to be like the mutants, right? And I believe both men who play Professor X and Magneto are both in their 70s, if not 80s. And so regardless of their age, I'd be very much into seeing Professor Stewart and McKellan coming back as their X-Men roles that they done years ago. So, anyways, what do you beautiful people think? Let me know in the comments down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. And we'll talk to you fellow mentions